Pretty sure we went through a wormhole into a different reality altogether. Since Blair took us to war, everything just went to pot. For those too young to know, Tony Blair was the UK's Labour Prime Minister elected in 1997. And for those who don't live in the UK, Labour is kind of like our equivalent of the Democrat Party. And I remember we all thought at the time he was so brilliant because he was very pro LGBT. He changed a bunch of laws to give us equal rights. So, as the nation's sweetheart, his warmongering was pretty much overlooked by at least half the population. And I think you could pretty much say the same about Obama, because I remember being up all night, totally enraptured by his victory. Like Blair, he was such a breath of fresh air on a surface identity level, and so many of us just fell in love with him. But I think a lot of voters have gotten wise to this now. The system plays on identity to win your allegiance, and they hope that by doing so, you overlook all their shortcomings and failings and wrongdoings. After your knight in shining armor comes along to rescue you, they can do no wrong. If they do, you look the other way. But you don't even have to do that because the media does that job for you. The media sells you a hero and continues fueling that narrative as long as they need, while hiding all the dirt. And Trump is now that hero because, as I've often said, the pendulum of tyranny and corruption constantly swings left and right. And every time it changes direction, we think there's a revolution underway and change will come and will drain the swamp. And I'm really hoping he does, that he lives up to his words, because that swamp is looking so murky after all the horrors of the last 4 years. 2020 and the pandemic pushed so many lifelong leftists over to the right because they seem to be the only people calling out the insanity. And RFK Jr. clearly wants to do something about it, but whether he will have the power to actually affect any real change, I'm not holding my breath, unfortunately. I'm praying he does, but at the same time, I don't hold out that much faith for a hero. But whatever happens, I think it's refreshing that these things are even being discussed, that the tide seems to be turning, hopefully, and all of us who were made to feel like we were alone in our tinfoil hats now have the strength of knowing that we are the silent majority. It was certainly a lonely place for me and others like me who spoke out in 2020 and 21, being the subject of so much intense hatred. But now, looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. We might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday.
There are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
American voters are finally unburdened by what has been. Hit my bio link to get yours now.